Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we'll call the
That's funny.
March 4th, 2025 Weston County Commissioner meeting to order. Let's start county business as soon as the invocation. Does anybody like to do an invocation this morning?
I'll do it. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the beautiful weather that you have been giving us. We ask that you're with us today to make our decisions, give us wisdom to go about other county business. In Jesus' name, amen.
Martin, would you like to do this?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
label.
Okay, we have an agenda in front of us. Is there any additions or changes to the agenda that we'd like to consider? Go ahead, Peggy.
Stacy Haggerty brought over the Weston County Travel Commission Joint Powers Agreement between the town of Upton, city of Newcastle, and the county. It needs the chairman's signature, so if we can add it under old business. And then the treasury report, they got those done. So I'm not sure where you would like to add those.
If we just do it right after we do this, right before payroll. Want to do treasurer's report or after payroll and voucher?
Okay.
Which one? Before or after?
Or right after public comment.
Anybody got anything else? Kim brought in the 3 to 5 year planning paperwork. I think we'll just get it on next agenda. It's pretty lengthy. And also, we don't want to drop those performance evaluations, so let's add that to old business on the next agenda, because I think we need to pick between the three, and maybe Becky could just email each of those three to all of us so we can go through them while we're gone.
I think it's a great idea to put it on next time.
Okay. We move forward with getting those started.
Move to approve agenda as amended.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. Payroll and vouchers.
The new store. This is the one-stop shop. We have a pharmacy. We have a bootlegger's liquor. The deli, the food that you can get at a lunchtime is so amazing. The coffee shop. Certain Friday mornings, there's 30 people sitting here in all these chairs. This is the hub for people to come and visit, have their coffee, have their donut. It's amazing what this area has done. Totally amazing.
addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.
So we're paying this, you've got a good explanation of this insurance thing?
He's dropping it by.
No, I mean, of the,
Oh,
jail.
yeah.
So they're hitting us up for the deductible or whatever, right? And then we're supposed to go
Appears
back?
that way, and then we're supposed to remember to get Michael to remember, try to get some money back from all that.
Okay, we need a note for that.
Well, we do, but the way it sounds is this is insurance that happened even before this gentleman was in jail.
I
But
think
in
he was in our
order,
custody at that point.
but in order for him to be seen while he's in jail, there has to be payment made on his insurance, on his payment to the hospital.
Like they're refusing to see him, it sounded like from what Jason said.
That's not
Without
legal.
some sort, that's what I would have thought.
That is what I got from it.
You go to any emergency room, they can't refuse your service.
But I had Becky write it down and put it on the agenda to have Michael.
Do you want the warrant number so you can go back and?
Probably a good idea. I didn't add that up.
73544.
73541.
44.
What I noted is how many others have gone through like that, but we haven't.
I've never seen one.
I've never seen one like that.
That's the first time I've ever seen something like that.
All right.
I seen him where we had to haul them in for to hit their head and had to get stitches or something. But
Sorry, I'm passing it.
Do it.
We're signing them. I'm gonna pass them. What if we said no?
Well, then I have to scratch my initial it.
We can't be doing that. You can.
No, they're up here because you guys had questions on this Title 25.
Do you want us to?
go for it, Gary. or-
Yeah, I just had a question on, we had 3 Title 25 vouchers filled out here. You can take a look at it, Michael. It's got a reference, the referencing, this list is all referenced invoices, although this isn't the invoice. So I'm interested in looking at these 3. I don't know.
So, right, those are the camel credits that we're trying to get paid.
Do we have an
Do we have an invoice?
That is it. We have.
That's a statement.
Okay, here. This is what it says. Just a second.
That's an invoice.
There we go.
There we go.
Those
This is
are
what I
invoices.
sent you. I don't know why they don't have it. I'm sorry.
We have a lot of things that aren't being
I just sent
redacted,
you
so
the-
just a reminder, we have a lot of things that aren't being redacted.
Jail
The
and
jail,
a lot of things.
Okay, these are all redacted. Yes. And that, and I have the original that.
Assuming that's.
No, so that takes care of those.
Okay. This one, here you go. Do I see
Yes.
it?
I'm trying to,
Yeah, we discussed that when we thought.
This would, yeah, these would be useful.
Yes,
this one,
payroll outreach.
this is public health, so that's not them.
That's not them.
Okay. This, what was your question on this one?
That was Gary's.
Oh, this is Gary.
Because we're only given a price sheet.
We don't have a Pennington County.
Is that sheriff's?
No, that's the Pennington County warrant one that we paid. They want an invoice with that instead of just the price sheet.
We had it, the voucher was originally made for $60,
Oh, that's the
Which was-
subpoena.
which was
Oh.
changed to 30.
They
to
would
the
like an
subpoena.
invoice with it instead of just the price sheet.
Okay, so we can just ask them to send us some. Yeah, okay, I'll call up there.
Did they have an issue sending invoices?
We're okay with this one.
This one's okay? Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Send us that, it's just across everywhere, just whatever the civil process is to serve paperwork is what.
Right. Well, here, I guess, not knowing what you guys know, I know what the service fees are, but other than an address and a contacting phone number, I don't know what was actually billed, other than looking at the price of the voucher and putting that to a subpoena. I just need it exposed as a subpoena on the invoice, that's all.
Okay, I will call them to
Okay.
the clerk up there.
And
And
I'll
I'll,
also give you the redacted subpoena, if that would be helpful, so you know what
you want that?
Yeah, whatever would
Yeah.
reflect the charge of the
This one has been
subpoena.
sent.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can bring that back.
That would be great, thank you. That one, we had, these were two.
And this
Did we
one-
have another one of
this is
these for
one
the
I'll
other
Oh, this is
invoice number?
This is public health.
Looks to me like this one
Yeah.
was,
the one we were curious
that's
about,
this one.
the contract.
Okay, that's the Trona County, that contract, right? For the,
We have a bunch of stuff.
hang on.
We have piles of previous.
No, we just want the contract.
That's fine.
The only one I'm missing is the one ending with 743.
She's on it.
Thank you. Okay, so that's fine.
The letters that we found in the files would make me think that the contract is either in the commissioner's files or in the clerk's files, so.
I looked, I have a contract, but it's not with them.
So we contacted the Trona County to get their copy. I just haven't got it back yet.
And I mean, I can show you what I have. I did it at lunchtime, but it's not with the legal team. It's a contract for Title 25s, but it's not like what this is.
Yeah, I just
Something
wanted,
different.
I think we just all want to see that. The
And I can
contract
show
only
you-
because of
I
state
can
law.
show you that.
Well, we want to see the contract with the, includes the,
This is this one, so we're good on this one.
or maybe Michael, you know the state statute that says we have to pay legal.
It's 25. It's in 110. I think it's.
The only one I see is this one.
She's got our supervisor to add on this one.
It was 110 or 112E or something like that.
This is 10-112.
Yeah.
Yeah, no legal fees.
Yeah, the only.
But I don't have a problem if that came in a contract. And we agreed to that, that's something different.
Sorry, Angela.
They have the.
Do you want to get this back?
Yeah,
Do you want
these
to
are the
voucher?
reflective invoices.
Both of them.
Is that the first one?
This is the other one.
All three of the invoices are the same.
So proceedings for detention are
On the
all
list, yeah, there was a breakdown.
pursuant
of
to
each individual.
109.
You're gonna grab that one first, and then it should be.
Okay. And clothing and costs.
Still kind of there.
I didn't find out the right one. I don't think you have to. I still would like to see that.
The process you guys go to, ensure that the person was a resident of Weston County. Is there like a,
What usually happens is they're taken by law enforcement here. And then when they get there, they fill out their address and all their medical information and stuff, which we get.
Yes, right here.
112 cost of
Have it in
20%.
our office because it has all their personal
Yeah.
information all over it.
And so I,
Could they lie about that?
BIII, or do you have another one?
A1BII, yeah.
Most of the time, I think officers, most of the time, not all the time, but they
Did you look up
respond
109?
usually to people's houses.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
detention statute.
They bill the insurance, so then they reimburse us.
And so it's
back.
110?
110.
No, they bill the insurance
109
doesn't
is when
cover it, they're supposed to
emergency
bill the
detention.
patient for 3 months and then they get it.
Oh,
They don't
okay.
pay anything.
Okay, so that's why they're so late.
So Brooke, in this one, on 1129, is that the insurance train?
Just proceedings of,
When it's first detained,
okay,
and then that's the first 72 hours.
right.
And then the 110 is
She's going
actual.
What the next?
And
I'll read
it
this.
could determine on everybody's.
I'm going to my
insurance coverage or what
There's
it
three
is.
there.
Yeah.
I'll stick that here.
The code of credit card.
These are the ones where
We played around with.
we put around. Yeah. And I'm just gonna stick them on.
Well, they're numbered. Bring them pen.
Okay, Amber got it.
Thank you.
Is that the one for 4,000?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, thank God she keeps all those records in there. So I just need to get the one, the subpoena. Okay.
Yeah.
Those numbers match that one. Don't they match? Yeah, match that right.
Do you want me to hold on to that subpoena one until I get it for you?
No, that one's already been paid. It's a prepay,
Okay, okay, so just bring the invoice.
so that it's
Okay.
in the, in the file.
So since
You
it's
can
prepaid,
actually
you go ahead and
just.
It needs to be initially.
Do you wanna-
And then we'll.
Do you want to
You can just.
And then just go down here.
We'll discuss that at the next one.
We'll just go grab the subpoena from district court.
Okay. Have that. I guess everybody needs to know that.
This is
That was the
This
penny
is the
thing.
prepaid. And she's gonna go get the subpoena, so, and it is a prepaid. Okay.
Come on, Jeff. I'd like to match it on.
Thank you. Are you attaching the numbers of the different ones?
This is weird. It's just not like that.
The number here is matching this number.
Okay.
Except for on this one. Hey, Don.
Hello.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Binders in the back too.
Okay, hey, we had a question on the names on those Title 25, should those be redacted?
Yeah, I've been blocking them out.
They're not.
Let them show you where they're walking.
Oh.
See them, where do we put them?
Yeah, come out here. Do this.
No,
At the,
That's maybe.
You better send them here.
Here.
look at the very bottom number. is what I think.
That's how much the credit was for on this one. It's very long.
See this?
That's what Blue
Here, look
Cross.
on that one close up. Look on that one. This one's quite obvious.
That's what insurance.
Yeah, let's see.
Things just Oh, I didn't catch that one. Yep. Yeah, I didn't like them out here.
Thank you.
Correct. I'm not sure that this is right.
They already did some sheets, fine, you can see that?
Yeah,
This
that's
one-
that's why we looked at, we were like, well, why?
But, yeah, it's in there.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep, no problem. The binder page is in there too.
All right, thanks so much, man. I appreciate
You
it.
have to have that $1 million on both.
Oh, did you have the one with the heart on it?
No, I slid it over.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's Well, see, mine does have, say, a pink ribbon, so, Gary, if you'd like to have it.
Okay. Did you want to look at it?
It's a subpoena on that.
No, just as long as it's with it.
Which one's that one?
It's that, it might be down there, guys.
I think we slid it.
This one.
What is this doing?
Oh, that's what I asked about the generator.
Okay.
So you can pay it if you want to? I mean, it's already been ordered.
They've got 3 different ones in here, so this should be connected to us with these other 2.
And we do have it on our agenda, so just keep it.
Which is weird though. You
So,
come
go
up
ahead
with
and-
this, we're back here on the doctor,
It's
4,000.
got 3 on
It's,
it. I
this is
know.
the one that we were gonna try to put this building to.
Which I guess is.
No, the city hall is good. And
Yes,
it's for dispatch.
3 different
And I'd like to
ones,
have
but we're going to
same-
hook us to it also.
These are all the same.
Where's ours? Yeah, it's on it.
We don't have one for the courthouse. We do one.
That's what, this is gonna hook to that
We have a
also.
huge one at the sheriff's office. Huge.
Oh, I bet she submitted each.
It would be nice if it were. That goes to Pennington County. There's a
Oh.
that has one on this one.
So this is 4350, is one of them 2675?
Yeah, this one is.
So they're all different.
You have the
on
same,
this.
she broke
Bless you.
Same,
Thank you for
basically
that.
the same.
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God they keep records, we're just.
that would make sense.
You understand
I bet they do.
These 3.
2675,
Yeah.
1186.
We just
We're
need
only
to
using it to this folder that this.
You're doing a very good job.
We just
One
need a
bill.
bill on this one. So that one probably needs to be signed too, we just need.
I'll check it out. Okay, so next time when we get one that has more form, we're gonna all 3 with that, the documents for these 3 to 1, because they're.
I pulled out in here because of the redaction.
Okay.
Well, did you talk about this when you went here maybe? This generator, this.
Thank you.
I probably wasn't here. Might not be there.
And part of it's gonna be,
Just do this, do that.
and it's gonna hook them to here because
So prior approval for that?
they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to sign the grant. Did we sign
It
it?
only has 2.
Like,
Yeah, that's one of my curiosities.
okay. I think it's,
Doesn't matter. I want the joint
Are we
powers
done?
board to pay for it.
You guys
Yeah,
good
you
with
got
us?
this.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. Sorry, we'll fix that.
Well, that was the, yeah, it's.
you have a question?
I just have a question for Carol.
On this one?
I mean, not Carol.
No, we're just gonna go ahead and sign that one, but
Will you write a memo to them not to do that?
to the public health, when they redact, not to redact everything, just the names.
So we're not pulling anything.
I think we got them all hashed out.
So, anybody got anything else on vouchers we've done?
I'm just waiting for us to pass this so I can sign this.
Okay.
We signed it, but we haven't passed it.
So, entertain a motion to pay payroll and vouchers.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? I think that went well, having some people come up and explain.
It did.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Ta-da.
Public comment. Any public comment? Hearing none. Treasurer's report. Pass this on down for everybody to see, so Marty doesn't yell at me for signing it prior. I missed that.
Oh, you can take my blue sticky off. Thanks.
Send that on down. This is the entrance. What's name? What's name? This is just business auto coverage.
Like liability tied to it.
Yeah, just uninsured motorist, personal liability, $1 million. What is the accidents? There's nothing about station here,
Have you ever gotten a treasurer's report on investments?
Out this year.
Could we put that down for next time to ask for?
Request.
It's kind of a state statute. Will you send this back upstream, please?
A motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, board signature on our CMAQ agreement for fiscal year 2025 to mag chloride 4.2 miles of Barton Road, number 75. Sure.
I would make a motion to authorize signature on the County Road Fund Project for CMAQ for 4.2 miles of Barton Road, number 75.
Is that a road eligibility form? Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving that form, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we're making it, right?
No.
Don't make me laugh.
Sign that.
Reading to Robertsburg.
I said we're making progress now, so the wheel's gonna fall off the bus shortly.
Okay, moving on, minutes of the county commission meeting of February 18th, 2025. I didn't see anything that I necessarily thought needed fixed. Anybody have anything on that?
Mr. Chairman, I'll recuse myself since I was not here.
Thank you.
Move to approve the minutes of February 18th, 2025.
Second?
Properly moved and seconded to approve minutes of February 18th, 2025. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Okay.
No, there's two sets in there.
This is the executive session minutes of February 18th, two different sets.
Just an FYI, this is what I have been able to find on that.
Thank you.
Terms of this agreement are already over.
That's all I have, and not, they've never renewed it, so.
Yeah, a 2-year life cycle.
Yeah, this is.
Anyways, that I have found, they've never renewed it.
Yeah, I don't think that's Title 25 either, really.
That's all I have off of Newcastle County.
It is. Expired 6 years ago.
Go back and do that, say.
Provider will prepare a detailed accounting of medical expenses of the juvenile who received. That's a Judy. This is Judy.
I know, but that's all I can find for Newcastle County.
Are you gonna abstain from those two, Lauren?
I'll read them.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of February 18th, 2025 with two different issues. Two sets of minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Proper motion to move in first and second on the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm an aye. Move on to collections for county clerk, district court, and public health.
Are you having people with their initials?
Yes, they need initials, please. thought you said you had someone finish these. I was like, well, if I can finish.
What you got?
You will put these in the minutes, what they are, right? The collection,
What do you mean?
the amounts,
I haven't ever.
they should be.
Like to
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the collections for the county clerk, the district court, the public health in the amounts of $8,217.49 for the county clerk, $2,395 for the clerk of district court, and $420.10 for the Weston County Public Health.
proper motion on the floor to.
Second.
Any discussion? You got numbers right now? Okay. All those in favor of approving the collections for county clerk, district court, and public health with the aforementioned balances, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Take one. Oh.
This is it.
One pass it down.
Yes. Moving on to Blue Cross Blue Shield plan selection.
So these are basically for you guys to look over and then you can make your decision at the next meeting. That's when, I mean, we have to have the decision sent to them by the end of April. So this is just for you to, the packet for you to look over. And Amber worked out some numbers. The information of what the Excel spreadsheet is at the top. The first one, the percentages stayed the same, what they currently are right now. The next one, county takes the 3%. The third one, county and the employee takes the split, 1.5% increase each. And then the back one is the employee takes the 3% increase. And of course it's, so the For many years, the lowest was the 7%. That now is 9.02% is the lowest that it has to be. So we changed that to the 9.02%. So that saves the county money on that one as well. And keep in mind too, like I said at the beginning, to some of you, law enforcement retirement is going up from 9.5% to 10.4% starting in July. So I'll add this back to the agenda next time.
This is gonna be on an individual basis. So
This is what each employee pays, but last year it increased by 14%. This year it's only increasing by 3%.
It's about a $30 increase if the employee takes it all to the employee.
Some of them, the highest is $80. You'll see on the very back, that's where the increase for the employee, what it would be.
Okay.
They would pay $80 more a month. They're the ones on the family plan. If they took total. So, but usually it's right up at budget time when this is done, and this has given us enough time that.
We never had it this early, ever.
So, getting it to you, then I'll put it on the next agenda so that we can have that back to them by the end of the month. So, this is for you guys to do this homework.
Thank you.
Which brings me to the next one. Guess you can take one of these and pass it down. So Susie had came to the last meeting asking for a budget adjustment, and then, you know, Ed said that we would just do one big budget adjustment, but there are some departments that are almost completely out of money. And it was, when we sent off the budget last year, it was said, we're not doing budget adjustments, but something's gotta be done because they're not even gonna make it through next month. So, the law enforcement jail medical is 353% over. And if you look at your printout, your summary, did you guys all get the summary? Or detail, I don't know, I think you do get your summary. So, when you figure up, because, you know, they always have the cushion, you take out their salary, they only have about 30-some thousand, let's see. Have this figured out. So if we take their 216.61 minus what's in there for their salary, 183,741. That leaves $32,000 for the rest of the year in their budget for everything. And right now, currently, they're spending $43,218. That includes their $30,000 salary. So, $13,000 per month. That isn't. They don't have enough to make it through the end of the year. And then if we go to, annex, they are definitely not gonna make it. So they have $6,000 in their account, their total accounts. And if you take out contract wages, that's $3,600. That leaves $2,417 in their budget. And they're spending $2,095 a month. Right now, they're $1,000 in the hole with the software and $1,223 in the hole with their janitor supplies. So you guys can look at the budget.
Good enough to pay them for payroll and the ones that are payroll. Do they have enough to pay themselves?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. A budget has a purpose. Budget hearings, budget meetings have purposes. It's not, do they get one of these
Yes.
every month?
Yes.
That's a responsibility of the department head, regardless who it is, to make sure that these numbers, that they even understand what these are, and that these numbers are being followed and come in, let us know. But budgets have consequences. There can be emergencies, we get it, that's why you come in, you have that conversation with us. But to wantonly decide that you're gonna pay this bill, or you're gonna buy something, not necessarily to paying the bill, because if you bought it, you probably gotta pay for it. But to go over knowing there's an issue is irresponsible. And it's even, and even to this board, I would say, that there should have been a halt, and this is our halt. But to get to 353% over, somewhere along the line, we get in some responsibility too. But I think we're doing it. But with all due respect, this next budget is going to be cut incredibly. There will not be the ability necessarily, or probably desire to tap into any reserve accounts for items or things that happen that aren't necessarily emergency. This, as a budget guru, this makes me gnash my teeth. I'm not happy.
I agree. The law enforcement medical issue that's 353 over, that's kind of one you pretty hard to
Come in. Somebody come in.
come in and say, hey, look, this is what's happening. But
I apologize, Mr. Chairman, but it's our responsibility to read this.
and we've been lucky because we've been able to fall back on those tribal funds and things like that, which are diminishing rapidly.
So I just wanted to give you a heads up, there's quite a few in the red. And the communications one, I mean, those have went up a lot.
So are you sending them a memo?
I did, they're
But do you send them, I mean, I think.
When we send them this time, they're all gonna be highlighted, because I wasn't aware how bad these were until I looked at them this time. And it's like, no.
So I think maybe that might be a policy, that if they start drifting in that, I mean, if we have to hold hands, well, then we hold hands. That's our responsibility as this board. If we have to, if our job is not to micromanage, but if that's the avenue we're being pushed down, then so be it. Because this is the people's money.
They should all be about 33% on the right now. If you look at your budget. And any of them that were a little bit under that, I put on this list. And so Susie's got a couple, but those are the ones that she's already asked to have adjusted because of sending to that court, sending Kim to that class. But, you know. Yeah, I'll highlight them when I send them to them this month.
Where are we robbing from to pay like the law enforcement medical? We've been.
No, it gets paid out of that account. But as long as they still have it in their overall account, they're good. But that's what I said. You take the salary completely out, and that only leaves them $32,000. But they're not going to have enough to get through the end of the year.
As the point guard, as a team leader, what do you do personally? What do you do to help your team get to the level that I know you guys all want to be at, and I know your fans want to see at?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to stop, preparing and working hard when we're not in practice. I'm going to continue to get in the gym. But as a leader and a teammate, right now, we're coming off a losing streak, and we are the desperate team. We need to figure it out and find a way to win these close games, because I feel like with all the top teams that we've played to our competition, whether it's up or down, and we just haven't been winning these close games. I feel like, over time, we can't keep losing these close games. We got to start to figure out the small one-possession mistakes or the small late-game mistakes that are losing us these games in a close situation. And, I feel like we just have to understand that it's the Mountain West and we can't come out flat versus anybody.
But they're not going to have enough to get through the end of the year. Because they spend the 40-some thousand, because you look at the year or month, what they spent this month, and you take out the $30,000 for their salaries.
No, I get that. I'm just saying at the end of the day,
when we do our budget adjustments, we usually take it out of financial admin, but we don't have a lot in financial admin this year.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Financial admin is a balance. We are on the budget side. We are not on the treasury side. Treasury side has real money. We don't have real money. So when we play those games, that puts us in a hurt. And there will come a time that we keep doing this, that the treasury with the real money will come over and go, guess what? And we've done that. We've had those conversations where real money has come over and said, I don't have enough money in my checking account to pay all these warrants. And that's when this is crunch time. That's crunch time. When we have to make a decision for the treasurer to say, do I pay these warrants or do I not pay these warrants?
Yeah, that's incumbent upon whoever watching that department needs to.
Absolutely, that is their responsibility. That's what they're elected to do.
Out of curiosity, the Law Enforcement Board of Prisoners, can you explain that? I don't remember us spending that kind of money out of that before.
I always assume that's for upstairs. Or upstairs. I don't know. You would have to ask that.
I think there was one paid this month, wasn't there?
There might be.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we are going to have about 3 years, and if that ballot initiative passes, I don't even understand if that even gets to be on the ballot yet. I'm still trying to learn that. But if it does get on the ballot, and that passes, this can't happen.
Well aware of that. Yeah, we're talking $300,000+ if they go to the 50,000 or
But
the
it's
50%.
everything.
Yeah.
It's more than that. It's
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So, and I think it appears to me that they're not going to backfill what they currently are trying to pass. So it's do or die starting this upcoming budget.
And Mr. Chairman, that's the same thing. That's the exact same thing, only on the state level. You start doing backfill.
Yeah.
Where does that money come from?
You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. I know. And that's why I said it when Mr. Diamond's meeting, we can cut, but people are going to start screaming because they aren't going to like it.
And that's
And
okay
it's
by
going to
me.
be every office, and I don't know, at some juncture, it may be jobs.
You'll be, employment is the number one expense of this organization.
And it sounds like when it comes around to the people to vote on it, I think you're right. I think it's got a pretty dang good chance of passing. And at 50%, then we're really in trouble.
Well, we know we have 25, well, we don't know what the governor's done. I haven't heard. I don't know what the governor's done. There is a conversation that it'll be unconstitutional because it doesn't have a backup. And that's based on the Constitution.
On the education side or on?
No, they will
on
always have a
county side?
backfill.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Education will always have a backfill. But what happens, the conversations that I've read, is that the percentage cannot go below 4% of the others. So you either reduce the others to 4%.
That's my thought on it. If they're going to backfill, how do you backfill these hardship counties without hurting the counties, the taxpayers in other counties?
That's exactly what you do. So it's unconstitutional. That's my opinion. I'm certainly not thinking.
That was my heartache over it. I mean,
don't backfill us.
Yeah.
But last year the bill was vetoed because of the backfill. So now you take backfill out and it may be unconstitutional because you don't have backfill in it. So they took a path that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I guess at the end of the day, I think you're on the right track, Becky, and I'd say tighten your belts because it's going to get ugly.
Good practice run.
Appreciate you putting it together. Anybody else have anything on this you want to discuss? Go ahead, Mark.
Sorry. Kind of on a roll, sorry. I think it would behoove this board if we wrote a memo to every department head. This is what's going on. Please pay attention to your budget summary. And that perhaps we will cover these because we kind of have to. But there will be no more in those line items. If that line item is in the red, because what's going to happen eventually, if this continues, the whole department will be in the red. And that's where we get in trouble.
Yeah.
And to pay attention, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. That budget is coming up. You will be requested to have your budget to us by May 1st. Understand that there probably, and that will be in your letter at your discretion, Mr. Chairman, that there are going to be cuts made, so let's not be ballooning anything, but let's be conscious of what's going on, because if we're not, and this isn't a threat, this is just a conversation that we may have to have, is that you will lose employment.
I'll put a letter together and get it sent off to all the...
If you need a motion for that, I just made it.
Sure. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Moved and seconded for the chairman to write a letter to the different heads of the departments to monitor their spending closely as we're closing in on the close of this budget year, and some of our accounts are severely behind.
Accounts are overspent.
Or overspent.
Line item.
Yeah. Any discussion?
Mr.
Go
Chairman.
ahead.
Other than the obvious, are there any repercussions in not adhering to the budget? Obvious ones being discontinuing, forcing discontinuation of employment.
I suppose if you're an elected official, or
Well, I'm just kind of trying to put this together.
No, I get it.
We've got, if I tell one of my kids that you need to be home at 9 o'clock and they show up at 9:30 and nothing happens ever.
I think the only
What am I
enforcement
teaching them?
arm is that it's incumbent on us to say, sorry, Charlie, you're just out of luck when it comes to the next budget year.
I would agree. Well, not only that, but what I would say is we've got to this point, at this point in the juncture, you have no more money.
Okay.
Don't submit it with that line item. Don't submit. It will not be paid. It will be rejected. Don't think about it, and we'll call you in and you can write a check for it. Congratulations.
And well, in noticing, you can tell the ones that something comes up and they're wanting to keep those lines of communication open. We all work it out on the front side. I'm not talking about those ones necessarily. Could get into those, but not those necessarily. The ones that no one shows up and the dollars just keep going out. Kind of like a couple of them that were exposed there.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the focal on what I'm talking about.
I agree, Mr. Chairman.
Can other departments that are doing okay with their budget help other departments?
No. No.
Like if I had a few extra thousand, could I here use this?
Here's what happens to that, is that the bookkeeping of that becomes
A nightmare?
a weird nightmare.
Okay.
You can have interdepartment loans, you're welcome, but that has to come through this board,
Okay,
that you have an interdepartment loan.
okay.
Lots of times it's loans,
Yeah,
somebody's gonna have to pay back.
okay. It's just, I just thought maybe that'd be an answer to help another department at a time if they needed it.
But then you have where you're asking for more each year, and then you're not spending yours, so you can help this department cushion theirs.
Yeah, I was thinking I'm doing decent, so I thought, well, maybe if I gave the jail a couple $1,000, maybe,
Clears up.
I guess that's what, I'm in agreement with this letter, but I don't want it to come across to departments that have expenses that they can't see out even a month, that those expenses are gonna be much higher. And law enforcement is one of them. They don't know how many people are gonna have in jail or what's going to happen. I think the communication between us needs to be better. And the communication between Becky and them as they get these printouts every month. If they're starting to look low, then I feel like there's a lack of communication with that. And the same with the attorney. He doesn't know what cases are gonna come up and what expenses are gonna be involved. But just communication between us, I think, is gonna be huge going forward.
Okay, Ed, Marty, then Garrett.
With what Gilbert brought up, I mean, you start taking from one department, give it to the other, you lose your transparency of your budget.
that makes sense. Thank you.
Ms. Urban?
My point is, what's the point of that in the budget?
Yeah.
What's the point? The point is so that you display to the taxpayers what the money's being spent on. If you cannot come up with, and I understand, I think I'm with, fully understand emergencies come up all the time. That's why we have an emergency fund, just in case. And odd things happen, but a deliberate overspending on the line item is delivered.
Sure.
I don't want to repeat what already been said, but to go along with Gilbert also, that's exactly our job, Gilbert, is to develop a budget for the county specific to each department. So the question on the front side is, did we create a poor budget for that department? That's a question. Or it kind of says that we did when we don't have the communication from that department. If the department comes up and say, hey, this came up aside from our budget and we'll work through that together, it looks like we just put together a terrible budget for that department without the communication.
Absolutely. I know they've had some inmates that required a lot of medical this year, but at the same time, they should be over here saying, hey, communicating that with you.
The pendulum can swing both ways. I mean, we ask people to cut, and they choose to cut where they shouldn't cut, or they don't cut, and so, all right, we got a motion on the table for letter to be sent to the different department heads.
Call for the question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I will do my best. Okay, Britt grant.
Yep, you mean.
Gilbert.
So there's a grant available, a brick grant. It's not 100% match. It's a 75-25. But it's for critical infrastructure, and I was seeing if you guys would be interested in going for a generator for the courthouse. So I have Rick's Electric. He's going to come by today and kind of hopefully give me kind of a rough estimate on how much it would cost. Because having a generator for the courthouse would be beneficial because it also hosts the server for the sheriff's office. And without a server for them, that kind of shuts them down as well in their stuff. I know the generator for the city hall and the dispatch center, we ordered a triple phase, and it was around 40-some thousand, and then the work, it was going to cost around 55,000-ish, but I don't know how much it would cost for the courthouse. So I don't know if you guys are interested, since it's not a 100% match and funds are tight. I don't know if you guys are interested, since it's not a 100% match and funds are tight, but I just wanted to bring it to the board saying there's that option with this grant or something else.
Going back to the one that we just signed a voucher for, is that 100%?
That one's 100%.
Including the labor of the other 55, the other?
That's all, that's the generator and the labor. And that's for the whole city hall building, and mainly those for dispatch, but it's gonna run that whole building.
Okay, so when that grant comes back, it goes back to our general fund.
Correct.
Okay, let's remember that.
And this is a 75-25. So there will be some county funds that will be required. 25% of it.
Good.
So what capacity is being used at the sheriff's? Can we put the courthouse on there? Can we?
I don't know how much it would cost to pipe that generator to over here or not. I mean, I don't know if that'd be worth it or not.
Where are you gonna put it?
That's something we would have to discuss too. Is where we could put it, if we could stick it on the side over here on the lawn or on the back side. I have no idea. I mean, that's stuff that we would have to decide, or the board would have to decide where you want it. But I just wanted to see if the board is interested before I put the notice of interest in. I had till March 17th to put that in. So.
On the capacity, that one over there, Brian updated, that generator does not have enough capacity to run along the building over there and this one. Mainly because of our HVAC.
Oh, that makes sense.
The power demand that that.
And now, the one over there that we ordered is a dual. It is propane and gas. We're not setting it up for propane yet. That's something that the city can do on their own down the road, but that's something, an option too, that we could do, or we can just order just gas only. I mean, it's gonna be your guys' decision. I just wanted to bring it to you that we could do the grant, if that's your guys' wish.
I have one on the one that's over there. Does that, when that generator's installed, does that become joint powers asset, or does that become the city's asset?
That's my asset.
Okay.
That is it. It's, unless I decide to say, here, this is yours,
Okay.
but that is property of emergency management. Homeland Security.
If that generator kicks on and has to run for a week or two, how do we figure out costs associated with who it's actually powering? I mean, is that something that your office eats the cost of all the fuel consumed, or
No, that'll be,
you figure out
that'll be,
some with the city and
that'll be the city and whoever's operating it. It's just, they can't do anything with it. They can't get rid of it. They can't sell it. They can't do anything without my authority.
Then I would like to have an MOU.
Okay.
yeah, that'd be a good idea.
And I'd like to have the MOU stating either it's the joint powers or it's the city of Newcastle. And I want it signed by all parties, if that's possible.
We can do that.
I think it should come through here and through our attorney, so that we are, because I fear the same thing.
Not having issues like we've had.
Well, all of a sudden it's the county's problem because it's their generator.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let's have an agreement.
Okay.
If there's like say a maintenance issue, all of a sudden it appears.
Who's gonna check it once a month? Who's gonna, because the
That's
generators
what
have to
I-
be checked and, yeah,
So I'd like to see that.
yeah. Because I'm asking them to, the city to make the enclosure and the base for it and stuff like that. I just said that I am gonna do the grant to purchase it and for the install.
So who would we get to write that MOU?
Yeah.
Okay, so I so moved that we have an MOU concerning that. The generator just purchased for the city of you said city of Newcastle, but I feel it's for dispatch.
It's mainly for the main purpose of the Joint Powers Board for dispatch. It's just gonna, because the upstairs, the city council chambers, we also use for an evacuation point, a quick evacuation point for inmates. So, you know, it's.
So we need to get that worked out.
Okay.
Okay, got a motion on the floor.
Second.
Moved and second for Michael to create an MOU to put for both boards, all three boards. Is there any discussion?
All three signature lines, please.
And
Hearing none, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Good point, Marty. That's good.
So,
Good.
so on your next, the grant, you
Yeah.
have till the 17th to
I need
put
to,
in for it.
to put in the NOI, and then we'll have time to work on the grant. So, I just have to, you know, Rick said he'd stop by today and try to figure out, you know, the cost. I don't know if it'll be roughly the same or if it would be more. I don't know if it's single phase, triple phase for here. You know, a triple phase would probably be cheaper than a single phase. I don't know a lot about that stuff, but I think it'd be worth it. But like I said, we'd have to figure out where we want to put it. You know, 75, saying if it's a $70,000 project, you know, what's the 25% match? The county,
15-ish, 16.
So when we put in the expensive HVAC system that we did, and the server downstairs, we didn't put in a generator? We didn't hook it up to anything?
There's no generator, and then and we still need to get a new firewall, all that stuff, and with the current electrical issues we've been having, I think a generator could And it'd be beneficial for the county as a whole. With the long-term power outage plan that we've put in place, there's very few places in the county that have generators.
You know, when it's bitter cold out, it wouldn't take this whole building long to start freezing up and breaking pipes if we were out of power for numerous days.
The opportunity for us to keep operating, county government to keep operating. That's one of the biggest fears right now, for Homeland Security and from the feds down anyways, is long-term power outage. So, and thankfully we have a long-term power outage plan for the county. So, but in doing that, I learned that there's very few generators throughout the county. But it's your guys' decision.
Something's not good. Oh, yeah.
All right, can you explain what that happens when we bring a grant, we sign on to a grant, what that does to our entirety of our budget line items? So I don't think everybody understands that.
So when there was a printout that was put out by someone, I'm not sure who printed that out, but they took direct figures from the Department of Audit. And the claim was that this county had $17,000 in reserves. No, we don't. What happens is they include airport grant, they include landfill grants.
Last year's.
Right, and so those things are all included because that is money that is revenue. But those are not reserves accounts per se. They are reserved for that project. But they have such stipulations that what was in that copy? But anyway, so what happens is those have such, and it's the same thing as people see our reserve accounts on our budget. It has road construction and maintenance on it. Those have strings attached. Those are not just liquid assets. We have to have rules for that.
They're ear tagged for certain.
They are, yes, there are rules how you get to spend that money. So when that gets sent out, and to have legislators look at us in the face and say, well, you can last for a year and 3 quarters. We'd be lucky if we could last a few more.
I mean, last year's budget was a perfect example of it. With the landfill, that was $4 million on that grant. Well, it just looked like our budget got bumped up by $4 million. Well, in reality, the county didn't have a penny of that. That was all. But the way the grants have to be done, they have to be ran through the county. So it looks like our budget, looks like the county's budget had that $4 million, but not a penny of it was for the county.
It all had to be used for the land.
Yep. That's where the grants, people look at that, the reserves, because that looks like a reserve, but it's not. It's earmarked for a certain project, and it's not a general fund reserve.
The county benefits from those,
yes,
but it's not exposed in the budget. If it's exposed in the numbers, it's still accounted for elsewhere. So, yeah, you might have usually on the grant side of it, they're doing something gets paid and then it's a reimbursement on that. Very rarely, it's not like a check is sent on the front side for X amount of dollars and we can spend out of that. It's not how that portion of it works, but the county still benefits from those grants.
Absolutely.
It's not used that way.
Yeah, and then there's other misconception that happens is you say the county of Weston as far as mill levies, and then they see the mill levy that comes in for the county of Weston. It's not necessarily, I mean, they say county of Weston, but it's Weston County. So our government only has 12 mills, the city, you know that, 8 mills and all that. And so when the 77 mills come through, and I mean, we had that discussion with someone, that's not necessarily the county government. And so the issue comes of, well, we only get 12 mills out of the 77 mills.
Yeah.
Your school's getting a lot.
All of our grants that we apply for are reimbursement grants. So we do have to show all of them in our budget because we have to prove that we can pay for all of those up front. Then we get reimbursed from whatever entity is funding those grants. Then that goes back into the general fund. So every single one of them, whether they be 4 million, whether they be $50, have to be shown up front in the budget that we have that money. So every single one of those affects our budget as spending money on the upfront side in our budget. So it takes away from an employee possibly because it has to show that $4 million in the budget.
Mr. Chairman, rarely are any of them, you got lucky. A lot of them are 100%.
Yeah, my SHSP ones are usually the only ones that we find that are 100%. This one, the brick grants are, 75-25. And I try to stay away from anything else that's competing.
So when you say March 17th, does that mean you have to have the
notice of interest?
Okay.
Just saying that we are going to apply for this grant.
So in the interest of moving forward, what would the board like to do? I don't need to make a decision whether we're going to give them notice of interest. That's what I'm asking for.
My question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Can it be paid in the next fiscal year?
Some of these grants run, I'd have to look at the terms. Sometimes they give you a 3-year period to get things done. I'm not sure what the terms are on this one.
In the meantime, though, notice of interest means we're not encumbered to do.
No, it just says we are going to.
We're interested in
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah, and we changed the line. We did this 3 years ago. We started the process on culverts, the mitigation grant, and then we with Rick and Jimmy, and then we changed our mind halfway through. And it doesn't matter whether you finish the grant or not. It doesn't cost you any money. So.
The board.
I'd make a motion, we authorize Gilbert to just notice and
Put the notice of interest
put the notice of interest in, and then we'll see where if the dollar's too high, we can't afford 25%, we pull the plug. If it's something we want to pursue, we figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll look at that.
We should have a bid, kind of a rough estimate at least, hopefully today. And then I can come to the next meeting and give you an update on what that cost is going to be. We should have a bid, kind of a rough estimate at least, hopefully today. And then I can come to the next meeting and give you an update on what that cost is going to be. And then we can kind of go from there. I can put that notice of interest in. And
Ms. Huber.
I understand you're getting a rough estimate bid from one company, but if we go through with it, I think we would want to get 3 more bids.
Absolutely.
Got a properly seconded motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm probably going to be a no, and it's not necessarily that I don't think that this courthouse doesn't need it. There's something that's tripping in my brain. It might be the coffee. It could be. I'm not quite ready for this. Please understand, there's something not quite true.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Some discussion. We got a kind of a good idea depending on the size of the generator and things like that from our vouchers today. We got an idea. You know, maybe 75 is on the high side. You know, we need a lot more power than the sheriff's department. I don't know. So dollars wise, there are a couple things to consider. I'm on board for letting them know that we're interested with the opportunity to come back out pretty much at any time. But we don't want to handicap ourselves by missing the 17th of March deadline and this not being available. You want a generator, go buy one for 100% your expense. A couple points have been brought up. If we don't have this building powered, could the expense of this generator look pretty piddly in comparison to what we lost at that moment? That's something to consider. Honestly, generators are a high expense, high maintenance, inefficient unit. But if you need it in an emergency, it's doing its job. We don't want to run that thing ever. It's like insurance. You don't ever want to use it, but you don't want to go without it.
Exactly.
So it's a difficult call there because we are adding an item to the responsibility list too. It's got to make sure that it runs the 10 minutes that we need it for that one day. Next year, it needs to perform for 10 minutes. So I understand the pull on both sides, but I am for the notice of interest.
Yeah, and that's all. I just want to put that notice of interest in, and so we don't miss that deadline, and then we go from there.
Amazing that we made it for 110 years.
All right. All those in favor of Mr. Gilbert filing the notice of interest for the brick grant, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nope.
Okay, I heard 2 ayes. Were you
I said aye.
Okay. I'm an aye.
Please record.
All right, thanks, Gilbert.
Thank you.
EMS taxing district. Mr. Stolken sent us all a copy of the resolution, right? Creating.
Yeah, I created a resolution. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to look at it. Just basically follows the statutes.
Where is the time frame on the public comment?
It's 60 days.
60 days.
You're gonna publish in the paper.
Resolution number 2025-5. Any discussion on that? If you all read it in your emails? Right.
Mr. Chairman, is this just the resolution without the ability to ask the public for a mill levy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, if it's passed, the way I read the statute is that
It's automatic.
it's automatic 2 mills. But that's for discussion at the public hearing and everything. But if it does pass, I think it's an automatic 2 mills, and then the board of directors of the district can request and vote on an additional 2 at some point.
So after the public hearing, if we then move forward after the public hearing, that's when the 2 mil would kick in, right?
That's, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
My question is when does the 2 mil kick in?
That's what I'm trying to ask too.
Does the 2 mills have to go in front of voters?
Yeah.
No,
I
not
think
that.
that's what I'm saying.
Those 2 mills
This
don't.
resolution is what creates the
I thought this just created the district, and the district had to go out after the 2
No,
mills.
when I started reading the statute more, I didn't like it too much, honestly, because it automatically creates those 2 mills. And then that board of directors, the 3 to 9 people you appoint, if you create this, can ask for an additional 2 mills.
You know, if this resolution automatically would start taxing at 2 mills, I'd be 100% against it, because it needs to go in front of the voting public if they're gonna be taxing another mill on anything.
The hospital board was the same thing. When the hospital went to the district, it was automatically 3 mills off the top. So the question was, do you want a hospital district? And then you automatically had the 3 mills. That was set forth in that. And so that's probably what this is if you decide you're having an EMS district, then you're gonna get the 2 mills that come with it. And then, does the statute say that the additional 2 is by the board or by the public?
The board can propose it, and I believe the public gets to vote on that.
For the other 2, just like the other 3 for the hospital.
So then what's the point of the public hearing? If this establishes it prior to a public hearing?
No, it doesn't establish it prior to the public.
Yes.
You can't, the way I wrote that is that you have to publish this in the paper, and if you guys don't approve it, then it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you do approve it, it does happen.
Yeah.
But when you have that public hearing, people can talk about the 2 mills.
I was confused that it actually went into effect for that.
No.
Is there an opt-out?
Yeah, in that resolution I put in there, if you guys decide at the public hearing that you guys don't want to go through with it, then it just doesn't happen.
Is there an opt-out for individual taxpayers?
Not that I know of.
And this map has been approved by the assessor?
Yeah, that's just the description of, I talked to Kara Thursday or Friday, and if you guys just want the entire county, we just use the description as provided in the statute.
Just a point of clarification that I'm not understanding. Is this, as far as what's going on at this point, to determine whether we do want an EMS district or whether we want to hold the public hearing first and the EMS district is formed after the public hearing?
It's that you're going to have a public hearing to first, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Other discussion on resolution 2025-5. Personally, I think it's probably a pretty important step forward that we get the public here to discuss this, because this appears to be a pretty major issue for Weston County. When you've got an ambulance service that's kind of billing here in Newcastle, and that's understaffed, I believe personally, for the population, square mileage that they're covering, and then you've got a volunteer service in Upton that is probably, I'm sure at times understaffed or whatever for their operations that they try to perform too. But I think it'd be good to get the public's opinion on it personally and see where everybody feels we need to move forward as a county, or we're gonna continue to live the way we want.
The communication is a must. We were just talking about the certain department heads and encouraging conversations and when things come up and stuff like that. When this comes to our table, we're representatives of this county, and we want that discussion. And ultimately, that discussion is so important because you want to put it in front of the people and say, 2% would go for this, and this would be what would benefit from that. Without this, if this is going to go away, without it, they need to know that too and say, hey, it's not important enough for us to pay it. Let's let that go. Or yes, we do want to pay it. And that's going to come out in that discussion. I think it's very important.
And I think inviting Campbell County EMS to that discussion too would be an important thing, because they're the ones ultimately helping on this end of the county and also helping on the other end of the county when those guys are having issues. And I think the public needs to know where we might stand in the middle of the night if we need an ambulance to haul you to somewhere. Yeah. Sir.
Well, I think also with the public hearing, you will hear, obviously, the stories of other folks, of what the conditions are. It's an interesting place to be when you finally get immersed in that situation. It's different when you're sitting outside. So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we allow the signatures of the 5 county commissioners on resolution number 2025.
Proper motion on the table.
Second.
Discussion. So I got a little bit. When is the 60 days? When do we start that time frame today? And do we need to establish a meeting maybe with the motion or a public hearing with the motion? Or
Yeah, I would do that.
Go ahead.
I would also can we submit this prior to, so that we have our boundaries down and we're not set back another 6 months? Can we send it into the Department of Revenue?
Yeah, it's required.
But we can send it prior to having our public hearing.
Yeah, because it says the proposed boundaries to the department. Yeah. So it says the proposed boundaries to the department for a conflict with that. So yeah, we send it to them, or you guys send it to them before that public hearing as well, to make sure that's all squared away. So that gives them the opportunity to make comments too.
So in the event that, I would assume they'd get back to us within that 60-day time frame, but I guess in the event it doesn't, it just probably pushes the public hearing a little bit, or I don't know. Just wondering when do we set the date for the public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, let's get this motion done.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I guess we could submit that to the Department of Revenue and set the public hearing at the next meeting if we would like, if they get back to us.
We're taking 2 weeks off of 60 days.
Yeah, I know. But do we have 60 days. Do we have to advertise on day 1 of that 60? Or do we just have to advertise on day, say, 25 of that 60 that we're having a public hearing on X day?
I think it would look better if you advertise it on day 1.
It would definitely give more opportunity to,
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you advertise, get the notice of the hearing. So you have to. So I don't think I explained this very clearly to you guys. I'm sorry. So I had it backwards, I think. So not less than 60 days before any resolution pursuant to this subsection is signed. So you have to have the public hearing, then wait that 60 days.
The new store. This is the one-stop shop. We have a pharmacy. We have a bootlegger's liquor. The deli, the food that you can get at a lunchtime is so amazing. The coffee shop. Certain Friday mornings, there's 30 people sitting here in all these chairs. This is the hub for people to come and visit, have their coffee, have their donuts. It's amazing what this area has done. Totally amazing.
So you have to have the public hearing, then wait that 60 days. Does that make sense?
To approve the resolution?
Yeah. To officially establish it.
Okay.
I move to rescind. Right? We can't pass this resolution until we have a public hearing.
Yep. I second that, rescind.
Well, the way I wrote that resolution is it's a proposed resolution to publish in the paper. That doesn't establish it because it gives it out, and if you guys don't establish it, in that 60-day period, then it just is of no force. Does that make sense?
So
I rescind my rescind.
what we should probably do is advertise a proposed resolution. This is what the resolution is going to be. This is a proposed resolution. We will have a public hearing within the 60 days. Is that how we need to move forward with that? Because we can't pass the resolution until we've had the public hearing.
Wasn't the 60 days established after the public hearing?
Yes. Yes.
I think we just need a motion to establish the public hearing.
You guys can.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's backwards from the usual time frame, so it gets confusing.
So we have a public hearing first.
Yeah.
Then if the Board of County Commissioners decide, after that 60-day public hearing, then they can pass a resolution.
Yes.
In the interim, can this be sent to double check the legal?
Yeah. Yeah, and you gotta give notice of your proposed resolution and the date of the hearing.
And that needs to be part of that notice sent out for the 60-day, or for the public notice for.
Yeah.
So we can do that in 20 or 30 days, right? We can advertise for a public hearing within, say it's 30 days or 40 days, whatever we decide. Okay, so we need to clean up the motion that was on the floor.
Yes.
Okay. It's been rescinded.
It's been rescinded.
Now.
So let's start from.
What's that? Oh, we need to vote on that.
We voted on the motion, so we have to vote on rescinding it now.
Oh, we do need to vote on the rescission. Yep.
I think Ed was the second on that.
Second, yep.
Okay. Any discussion on rescinding the before motion? Hearing none, those in favor of rescinding the before motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we start discussion on setting a public hearing to start the process of the resolution
Okay, well,
and advertising for that,
whoa.
right?
You, with all due respect, you should have not passed the rescission because you just said this wasn't about the resolution. It was about setting up the public hearing for the resolution.
So that needed to be advertised.
And then it needed to be advertised. So he didn't make a resolution that we're having an EMS district. Am I correct?
Yeah, so it says in there, you guys will have this public hearing, and then you can't pass it, and then, but if you guys don't agree.
No, this resolution, pardon me, but this resolution, according to what he did, is just state that we're going to have a public hearing concerning this. And that after the 60 days, there will be a resolution whether we want one or not.
Yeah.
So now we have a motion that we're no longer doing this.
Well, I think that the thought behind that was that was creating it in your initial motion, where this is actually not creating it. It's giving notice to the public that this is what we're moving forward with. And I mean, I don't have a problem with that being the language in the form of the motion. Like this is notice of what we are
Right, and then
preparing to pass or have a public hearing over to move forward with a following resolution to declare said boundaries within an EMS taxing district. We're getting really far into the woods here.
because this resolution is not that.
Yeah, it's just
Because even it says, be it further resolved that should said district be formed, the board shall take all actions to establish said district.
Question to Michael, what did you intend the board to do with that resolution?
Well, that's the proposed resolution. I would, you guys should publish in the newspaper. And once you guys set that public hearing, I want to just tweak that a little bit so I can, again, make sure I have the right language in there and then include the public hearing notice in there. Date and time.
Should it say proposed resolution on it instead of resolution number, whatever?
If it's a proposed resolution, it's not a resolution.
Right. So all this resolution is, Mr. Chairman, what you speak.
Okay. I think I need to probably tweak this a little bit. Because
I think you're right. Can we move forward with setting a hearing date though, and under the guide of the Weston County Board of Commissioners is going to be considering establishing an EMS district within the boundaries of the state or of the county of Weston County, and go ahead. I don't know.
What was your motion in June?
I don't know. I think it was to proceed forward with to create the EMS district, or to start.
To get the 6 months ago, it was to get the ball moving forward with getting an EMS district in the works.
So the question is, but you didn't follow through. Is that motion now a non? See, if you didn't follow through on that motion, without the 60 days and the public hearing, is that just moot now and we start over?
I think everybody's been confused. We need to have a public hearing. No resolution whatsoever, short of saying this is what this public hearing will create.
All it was in June 4th, Attorney Stolken presented a draft resolution for the EMS district. Commissioner Todd moved to approve the county attorney to start advertising for the public meeting to start the procedure to create an EMS district. That was June 4th, 2024.
So we just need to redo that.
Yeah, because that didn't happen. So you start all over again. So that motion didn't, you obviously had, the motion was to start the proceedings to have a public hearing. We didn't have one, so therefore the decision was made, and there was no resolution. The decision was made by not having a public hearing that there would be no district.
So if we want to move forward with this today,
Start over.
We start the advertising process for a public hearing. And when do we want to do that? 30 days from today or 60 days from today? That's what we need to decide, and that's the path I think we got to go forward to fix this.
Yeah. Since nothing was done within that 60-day time frame back in last June, it just died.
Yeah.
Tabled itself.
I think we should probably maybe go 30 days and start working on this before we start getting into our budget, because our time is going to be eaten up quite a bit by budget this year, so we should get this ball rolling and get this done before that.
And I think this is going to be I would say a pretty large public hearing if people take into it like I think they would. I would think we'd schedule it at the fairground at the event center in an evening.
With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, you probably should have 3 of them. We should have Upton, City of Newcastle, and County of Weston. The biggest problem that you run into, Mr. Chairman, is people say, I didn't hear about it. And to ask the people of Upton to come to Newcastle at 7 p.m. in springtime, when a lot of folks are calving and all that stuff.
You better advertise it in those county papers.
You better do so.
Because if we want to go that path, I'm fine on that. We're not encumbered by, I would assume our last the counties could be the last public hearing, and that could probably start the 60-day time frame if we wanted to do an Upton one and a Newcastle one, and then we have one here, and if it's in the courtroom upstairs, if we have to, in the evening or whatever.
Evening just don't know what to do. If it's in the evening, it'd be better more
Yeah,
secure for
that's
the
right.
building to be having at the fairgrounds. You know,
Maybe in the livestock barn so they don't get charged cleanup fees.
Oh, the paths we walked down.
Yeah. So, what's the pleasure of the board, I guess, my question.
so if we make that motion today, we have 60 days to have it finalized, one way or the other.
No.
After the public.
After the public hearing.
Oh, we have 6 days after the public hearing to finalize it. So we can, okay.
So we could just schedule some public hearings, and after the county one, if we want to do 3, which makes sense to me, that county one would be our official public hearing, and that would be our starting point.
And Mr. Chairman, you could make the final county one. If you made it a special meeting, you could make that decision right there.
Yeah. So-
Michael, he's the one that's advertising them.
I'm interested in moving forward. I think it's important. So
Yep.
let's pick a day in April. Do we want to do an Upton one first or a Newcastle one first? And maybe it could be even coincide with the evening of one of our meetings. When's the meeting in Upton?
We don't have the leaves, then we'll
Schedule.
definitely do
I thought
that.
we do. I thought
No.
we do in the quarterly.
You did not do
Okay,
that.
we're not.
So, Mr. Chairman, we make one.
Yeah.
If it's the second meeting of the last month of the quarter, it would be
Be perfect.
in 2 weeks and up.
April 15th.
No. We want to do the second meeting.
March
January,
18th.
It would be on
Oh, March.
March 18th.
One every quarter, so
That would
March
be
is.
18th.
Should we do that? Okay. Cool with that? Go
Yes.
ahead, Mike.
So we'll have to get it in by next week's paper, right? So I want to make sure, I'm going to have to tweak this based on our discussion today. It'll be a proposed resolution, okay? And I'll take out the stuff if it does happen. If it doesn't happen, is it your guys' intent to, this is a proposed resolution to actually establish an EMS district, and that'll give people the chance to look at it, and this will be clearly lined out. And if that doesn't, it's a proposed resolution, so it won't bind you guys to anything. So I'll take out that additional language if that's what you guys want, saying if it doesn't happen. Because I didn't exactly know how the discussion was going to go. I'll change to do that if you guys move to direct me to do so.
What time?
Okay. Go ahead, Ed.
I'm a little bit further down the track there.
His train left the station.
It's not derailed yet.
Well, yeah, do we have to have our meetings set by resolution first of the year, our dates?
Mr. Chairman, we do, but we can also change.
Okay, I just want to make sure we follow the proper procedure if we
can change.
Spur of the moment schedule a meeting up to next month, or in 2 weeks.
It's a special meeting, just give the proper notice.
Yeah,
Just give
special
notice.
meetings, we can do that, but I mean, just a regular meeting in Upton, next, in 2 weeks.
Does it land
The
on?
first one always has to be here.
Yeah, the first one has to be here.
What date is that land?
Would be the
It'd
18th.
be the 18th.
It shouldn't coincide with their meetings.
No.
Can we do it in the evening?
Have a,
Start at 3 or?
Mr. Chairman, are you considering having just a special meeting or
No,
a
I'm
regular
saying
commissioner
A
meeting?
special meeting after the regular commission meeting, and there's nothing binding us to start at 8 or 9 in the morning, is there?
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.
A special meeting after the regular commission meeting, and there's nothing binding us to start at 8 or 9 in the morning, is there?
No, I mean, having a public hearing after our business meeting, or commission meeting.
So here's, Mr. Chairman, here's my thought process on that, that if you do that for Upton and make that, then you do the same thing for Newcastle.
That's my thought process.
So have a regular meeting, and then after the regular meeting, so I think you almost have to start your meeting at least by 1 o'clock or have your regular meeting.
Yeah, whatever we need to do, and then by 5 or 5:30, the public hearing starts.
I have no problem.
Everybody's okay with something like that.
And then if we do the one for the city of Newcastle, where do we hold it? This room isn't big enough.
We'll verify with the clerk there real quick that would work for them.
And we have to, don't we have to have our first, at least one meeting in the courthouse?
Yeah,
Your first meeting has to be in the
Okay.
courthouse.
Okay.
County seat.
See, then we'd be pushing it out in 2 months already. We'd be pushing it out 6 weeks.
Well, the question would be is if we could have the meeting in the community center.
Yeah.
We used to have commission meetings and everything, don't we?
Or would we be better just having our
Meeting here and then
public meetings? Don't try to coincide them with the commission meeting, just do our commission meetings and then just set up them schedules so we can have one week, next week, and the third week.
Here's my thought on it, is that you might be able to garner some people that are on Main Street who may not come back to town or want to come back to town. They may walk in during commissioner comments or at lunch, whatever, and say, hey, I can't make the meeting, but I'm all for, here's my story. You may give them another opportunity for public comment. I'm just trying to open this up as much as I can without, closing in opportunities.
I want to get as much public comment as we can get on this one. To me, that's very important, that we get as much comment as we can to make this decision.
Why don't we just do the Upton one on the 18th and Newcastle one on maybe the 1st?
Yes.
And then that can trigger the 60 days. And then
We can have ours somewhere after that.
Can we not have the Newcastle one and the Weston County one together? It's gonna be the same people.
Not necessarily. I don't know if you'd necessarily get the same people. If you were to ask the city of Newcastle specifically, like send a letter saying they were going to have a meeting concerning EMS services, I think if you've specifically invited them, that will be a different set of people that will come to us.
But I mean, can't we do those the same time?
I don't feel that way. I feel that if you have 3 separate ones, you're giving that much more opportunity for those people to make one. Regardless. I think the more times that you say, this is what we're having, I think when you start to squish it down, and I fear the comment, but you had one for Upton, but you didn't have one for me.
So Kelly says it's okay on the 18th, either community center or city hall, I think. So I think city hall would probably suffice enough.
It may.
It's quite a little room in there. But if the community center is not available. So are we going to coincide both and just start at 9 in the morning for the meeting, or do you want to start at 1 in the afternoon?
Being a second meeting of the What do we already
But
have on our?
that's when, I mean, if Drew decides not to, she's set at 10 o'clock. Every second meeting. Times at 10. Or 10:15, whatever time.
Okay, so why don't we just have a meeting here, and then in the evening, there's a public hearing in Upton. Wherever they devise is fine for us to, we have a regular meeting here, and have a public hearing in Upton.
Assuming that Campbell County Health is available for those dates. I mean, there's some things that maybe we want.
We at least want to make it available to them.
Right. We say we're gonna be having meetings either time, and they say that they can't make that one. I think there needs to be, we need to touch some base in a couple areas. I feel like we're kind of really trying to get too much done on the front side. I think we ought to keep the meetings to the public hearing. That way, people feel comfortable in speaking. Or not, hey, they're gonna make a decision right afterwards. Let's not try to bundle too much there. Let's touch base with Campbell County Health and make sure they can make the dates that we've got put down. If that works for them, then, because we're kind of planning a couple things out of our control a little bit.
It could even be a weekend. I mean, it might be easier for the public to attend if it's on a weekend. I'm not set on the 18th. Maybe the 18th is too early. Maybe we pick 3 days, reach out to Campbell County and the cities and say, do these work for everybody? This is what we want to do. I think that's a good avenue, maybe, Garrett, so it doesn't catch anybody off guard.
And there's more discussion. There's more discussion out there, seats planted, so that topic has a moment to kind of escalate of importance. You slam something down, we're gonna have a meeting tomorrow. A lot of people don't know, so give it time to get interesting.
So can we pick 3 dates? Or do we want to pick one date for now and reach out to everybody here?
I think you should pick 3 dates and advertise those 3 dates.
Yep.
Because if you don't pick the dates now, you're gonna have to republish.
Right, so publish them and publish them twice.
So, we'll have pleasure of dates.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
You have something?
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. If we do the 18th, try to do the 18th in Upton that evening, maybe we could do Thursday the 20th and Saturday the 22nd. And then we would have our first meeting in April to make a decision.
Saturday the 22nd.
Yeah.
You're gonna run into some interesting things, responses.
Yeah, well, and that's where you give 3 meetings. I think we only need 2 meetings, but because Newcastle, well, I think you're gonna pick up some rural people in Upton for that meeting, and you should pick up rural people here. I guess my thought, being a rural person, I always feel like when things are just talked about with the city, it makes the rural people feel left out. So I don't know why those can't be combined.
When is state basketball for 2A?
Have they even gone to regionals yet?
It should be this
2A,
weekend.
2A is now.
Regionals should be this weekend.
Regionals was done.
Last weekend.
So state would be this weekend, but when's 3A?
Regionals for 3A is this weekend, I think.
This is Newcastle and 3A?
Yeah.
Oh. Are they gonna make it this state?
Good point.
Well, I go into the next week, and then we'd still have, that'd still give us, if we have all the meetings done before our first meeting in April, I think that would be good.
So you're thinking maybe the 25th, and or just spitballing that last full week, and The last week in March for you, is that what you're
Yeah.
thinking?
So we did the 18th and the 25th.
I think you're depriving the public a chance. But that's my opinion, that's the board's decision. Because I know as a rural person, like, I'm 7 o'clock and I have supper on the table, I don't want to go back to 10.
So, with that being said, would you rather do it after, in the middle of the day for, I mean,
I don't know, we're not gonna win, we got
No.
5 people with 5 different opinions, and, like having county attorneys and having 23 different opinions is like, whatever, draw a straw. Let's vote.
You know, I wouldn't mind seeing like the 18th and the 25th have an afternoon meeting, you know.
And then have a big one.
And then like on the 22nd, that Saturday, you know, have one like do it at the event center or someplace like that where we can get a large amount of people. That way you've covered Upton in the afternoon, Newcastle in the afternoon, and then you've got, you know, it's not just Upton, it's not Newcastle, it's county-wide, but we will have these 3 meetings.
So here's a question for you. So if we invite the city, have them put it on their agenda. They're doing the same thing we're doing. We attended at one of their meetings. Then the big one is everybody shows up. I mean, you could do that with Upton too. I want more people to be there, but if they can advertise on their agenda that they're talking about it.
so let's do that. Let's move into next month with everything. Get it on it. See if Upton will put it on their agenda for their city council meeting.
And Newcastle too.
Newcastle for their city council meeting. And then we establish a day after that. We know what days they are gonna have it. Maybe at the next meeting, we establish a county-wide meeting for our 60-day starting point.
So let's try that.
Go ahead.
I like that idea because I mean we've gotten both the town of Upton and the city of Newcastle involved in it too. I mean we're not isolating them, we're getting them in on the discussion, you know.
And then if they need to have, Mr. Chairman, if they need to put it on, when they put it on and they think they will have a crowd, I mean, we can adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
So, are we gonna do any advertising, or would we just leave it to the,
I think
ask them to
Well,
add it to their,
Well, we need to know the dates first.
well, we need to, if they'll put it on their agenda, then we advertise, also, we are obligated to advertise that we're having those meetings at them days in conjunction with the city council meetings.
So if you guys can, you can't publish until we have the dates, so we'll just have to get that arranged.
Yep.
I don't know.
can we give Becky the authority to start that process? And once, I'm sure we can, right? Once the dates are established, she publishes
Well,
in the newspaper.
She can let me know, then I can change this.
Okay. And a motion?
If you think I can work that.
Give her some more coffee.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So like, when I ask them to add it to their agenda,
Yeah, you
just
try.
put
Okay.
EMS district public hearing. How will they put it on their agenda? What will be their heading that I'm asking them to add to their agenda?
Discussion of EMS district.
Then our final one will be the public hearing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Here comes the motion. I make a
Hold
motion to
on.
authorize Becky to work in conjunction with county attorney to reach out to the city of Newcastle, town of Upton, to get EMS district public meetings in conjunction with their city council meetings. Authorizing the clerk to work with Michael and those 2 entities to get those meetings set up.
Are we asking for a public meeting, or are we asking to be on their agenda to convince people to go to the public meeting?
I rescind my motion.
Okay. That's what I'm asking you. Are we
Yeah.
asking to be on their agenda so that we can have that discussion of ask, just do,
Let's see where you're going. Because we really can't have a public hearing in their meeting.
not in their meeting, we can't.
It just has to be on the agenda.
He has to be on the agenda, we make that conversation, we hand them one of these when it's correct or fixed. Being a proposed, it's not going through, we're not even, we'll take the word proposed off, it's not even going through. It's just so people will understand.
Okay.
So instead of, yeah.
Let's back this bus up a little bit.
Well, get me out from underneath it before we.
Well, the bus ain't moving very far. Could we get this proposed resolution prepared and get it on the City of Newcastle's second meeting of this month and the Town of Upton's second meeting this month? And either some of us be there to present it to them, so it's out there, and then we get our public meeting scheduled.
Mr. Chairman, that becomes a part of their record.
So I think you're gonna have to do, you might be able to, I guess you could probably still make Upton's this month. They only have one meeting.
Only have one meeting?
But you probably get it done this month. I think it's the second Tuesday.
If we get the resolution presented to them in front so they can hand it to their people, you know.
And have their questions prepared for the big meeting.
Yep.
So the publication is only going to be that big meeting, as far as the hearing date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, we're not publishing our meeting dates to decide this. We're just reaching out to those two entities to get on their agenda to get the information in front of them.
We want to utilize the two meetings to advertise for our hearing.
Yes.
That's really what we're doing.
Yes.
Okay. I had questions there too, because I had questions of, okay, who's going to be presenting this? Which one of us is going to be presenting it to Upton or Newcastle or whatever?
Yeah.
So it's an advertising.
Yeah.
Okay. And carefully, if there's three of us there, that we're not delving into any decision making of any sort.
So we should have our date for our meeting to give them at that time too.
Yeah, we should.
Sorry.
Upton's is the 11th.
Up their meeting.
The next city is the 17th.
Right, day before ours. I mean, that would work out pretty well.
I kind of view this as it might do good for the county to have a few weeks to chew on this, even or a week or two after the second meeting with Newcastle, and then we have the actual public hearing.
I have no problem with that.
Do it like on the 31st?
Something like that frame. It'll be a Monday.
Well, if we had the big meeting on the 31st, Monday night the 31st, we could make our decision on Monday the 1st. Or Tuesday the 1st. Tuesday the 1st for our meeting.
Yeah, will you see if the community deal event center is available?
31st.
Okay, so do we need a motion to establish everything that we just did?
Yep, we do. We sure do.
Anybody put that in a motion that makes any sense?
There we go. There we go. Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of County Commissioners to be determined which members will be there will set an appointment at the Upton Town Council meeting and at the City of Newcastle's city meeting, at which time we will have a discussion of EMS district. and at the City of Newcastle's city meeting, at which time we will have a discussion of EMS district. I'll end my meeting at, and the dates being
The 11th and the 17th.
March 11th and March 17th respectively. I think I'll leave it at that, and then I'll do another one for
Okay with that.
the big meeting.
Is there a second to Marty's
Second.
discussion? Oh, yes.
Did you say the 31st for our?
No.
No, I'm doing that for a second one.
Oh.
So that's the reason, and the reason I'm doing that is the public hearing.
Yep. So it's separate.
And so we've noticed the public hearing in our meeting minutes.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we're getting places.
Yeah, for those buses rolling.
Secondarily, before we establish the public hearing date, I would be willing, do we want to just send 2 to each? I mean, or do we want to establish a couple of people or 3 people to each one, or of the city, or just if you can show up, or what do you think? I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, it is my belief that 5 of us show solidarity.
I concur.
It's not, we haven't claimed a meeting, we are attending a meeting.
Yep.
We are not making decisions or discussions.
Yes.
My suggestion is we don't ride in a car together, we go in separate vehicles, for that very interesting reason. But it shows solidarity, and I fully understand where things happen. Try to poster child for that.
Perfect, that's what I was looking for. Okay. Is there another motion that you would like to make?
Mr. Chairman, I move that our Weston County Public Hearing Commissioner, Board of Commissioners public hearing concerning an EMS district will be held on March 31st, Monday, March 31st, 2025 at
The Weston County Event Center?
Weston County Event Center at, I need a time, 6 o'clock? 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock?
6 o'clock. 6 p.m.
That works.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the new motion on the table, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I'm gonna need coffee.
Okay. Michael, you okay with all that?
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just get this tweaked and I'll get the public meeting in the proposed resolution.
Okay.
Get the notice out.
So if the clerk would please reach out, you want to reach out to both of them? Okay. Thank you. Public records fee schedule.
Alright.
Let's hope this doesn't take an hour.
So these are just, I didn't make copies for you guys. So I reached out to a couple of the other clerks. They're all in the process of updating their schedules as well, their fee schedule. Ricky upstairs charges a $10 flat search fee, $1 for her first page that she copies, $50 for each additional page.
$50 or 50
Or
cents?
50 cents.
Good.
I'm getting back in the coffee.
Sorry.
I'll take it once.
Yeah. Kara does not, she has no way to accept funds. She does not ever have to charge for those. Susie did not get back to me. I know she's sitting there, that's why I said it. However, I did look at some of them that the other counties charge. Sheridan County, theirs is $15 an hour for clerical staff time, $30 an hour for IT staff time, $50 an hour. For professional staff time, I don't know why that would be any different. But then there's 25 cents for black and white, 50 cents for colored copies, and then they're able to print copies of their hot maps. We can't do that yet. So basically they're the same as what we would charge. So I guess it's up to you guys if you want to figure that out, if you want me to wait until the clerks have theirs all figured out.
I would like to, I mean, if it seems beneficial to have it all together as a bundle and developed per department, and also printed and exposed.
Yeah.
They'll hang on the wall, so we got walk-ins that can.
Have you heard from the other clerks on what they charge?
Yeah, that's what I've
Just
read,
that
some
one.
of them, and some of them are working on theirs. I started printing off some of them that already had them figured out. I just didn't have time to get all of them figured out.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that the clerk come up with those fees, bring them before us, and we can have that discussion of what those fees, with an explanation of what other perhaps counties have, and see if we're in the ballpark, or if there's some extenuating circumstance that it may cost us more because we have something odd. Just need to know that.
All right, so wait till she gets some more info.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else okay with that?
Yep.
Detention employees. Brian's here.
He was.
Yeah.
A little bit behind. You haven't noticed?
No.
You turn the camera off.
Already missed last one's update. I think it might behoove you to
You see the paperwork.
fill her in a little bit, I guess, on what the issue is at hand.
So,
I'm a quick study, so you know.
okay, so what we wanted to do is we've got 7 positions in detention. We wanted to eliminate that.
Right.
And do a pay raise.
Right.
Take that to 5.
So I was here for that discussion. Was there another one last time?
Well, you got handed the
Money?
the money.
That's what this is.
We call that the letter of doom.
I left my sheet in the truck.
Marty should still have hers.
Marty's the only one that has one.
And I have this message.
That's it, right?
Yeah, the blue stripe gives it away. Somebody needs to work on that copy.
It's for us to look at. Okay. Just want to look at this.
She didn't see it.
Oh, yeah. See that. Thank you.
In a nutshell, what the sheriff's asking us for is to make a decision on if we can afford to bump these folks up a little bit, or was it Was it also to go to your employees and visit about that?
Right, we did that.
Thank you
They
very
weren't
much.
too excited about
Any kind of a pay?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, there's some that hung out through all of this.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get anything out of the deal. And it's not that they're greedy. It's just,
yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah, we are tired. Very tired. So we did discuss that, a sign-on bonus. I think that was the last one.
We were trying to figure out, because of the additional costs of the retirement and everything else that's associated with an increase in any form, trying to figure out a way to lure somebody to come to work if there was other avenues to do that, minus wages entirely. And I don't know, we're kind of a tough spot.
We are. You know, I think what really hurt us was DOC. I mean, we were doing pretty good until that happened.
I just, I understand where you guys are at. I can see where you're wanting to go with that. My fear is we give these guys raises and we bring more people on, and then budget gets tighter than it is right now. Sustainability. That's my biggest fear. I understand the problem.
So, yeah, and I understand that too, but the other problem we're running into is we're gonna end up pushing ourselves over the overtime budget, which is the same thing. You're over budget.
But Murray?
I mean, we had kind of a discussion this morning. Is it still on? Considering what this whole thing that the legislature has done to us. And part of that discussion is the most expensive thing we have are people, and the most important thing we have are people. So we're in a weird place here in that we're having some issues with the budget right now, and some serious overages, some lack of attention that is happening to the budgets that we're given. My feeling is we need to know, we don't even know what the 4% cap's gonna do to us. We don't know what the 50% homestead's gonna do to us.
Right.
We have no idea if the 25% even get passed by the governor. We don't know if the population is going through. So the interesting discussion that this board's going to have is what is essential. I think we just took over an hour to decide how we are going to have a public meeting. I think this is going to have to hashed out by 5 people here, and maybe you guys too. But I think we are going to have to know what pennies are coming in, what pennies can be coming out. And we are going to have long discussions. I know how important law enforcement is. I get it.
Well, and just keep in mind, it's the jail where we're suffering. The jail, I've got a considerable amount of inmates in there. And, I mean, it's gonna get to the point where we're not gonna be on the road, we're gonna be working in the jail. So, and that's coming fairly quick, because we lose another employee at the end of the month.
And while I understand that,
As long as you do.
that's the decision this board will have to do. Is that what we want? Because it may be what we get.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like what's happened. But we have no crystal ball in this county that works because there's no wizards anymore. And where we get to go with what is coming down the pike, because there's there's too many things flying at us. There's too many weird things just hitting. And I think we're going to have that long discussion. And I think when we have our budget meetings, we need to schedule an hour or so, and we sit here and we hash this thing out. I don't know where we are right now. I'm uncomfortable with so much.
I would echo that too. I'm very concerned entering this next budget cycle. And at the same token, though, I view that you can't just have an empty jail full of inmates. You got to figure out a way to try to maintain what you got, and I don't know. We discussed bonuses, is there any way to offer a sign-on bonus and still offer that to the guys that are working? I don't know, and to try to alleviate the pain of it.
Right.
Because my concern right now is if we jump to a different pay scale, I don't know, and we're already on your pay at 41% of your salary. I don't know how much, does that include your overtime, Brian?
Yeah.
So we're maybe 7% high on the salary that you were allotted for a year, and that's not much.
No, it's not, and that's because we're paying overtime.
And that's the balance that we're gonna have to make, is if it's more economical for us to have one more person, or is it overtime? I think in their case, they need more bodies.
Yeah, I agree.
But, at the expense of what? Because that's where we're at with this budget, at the expense of what?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because I can guarantee you, Mr. Chairman, we tell each department you only get 3 people. The building won't be on fire, but you'll think it is.
Sorry.
That's okay. I agree with what's being said, but I feel like these gentlemen keep coming to us with what they consider as an emergency. And I see it as an emergency too, and I see that law enforcement is one of our main responsibilities as a county. And if we have to cut other things to keep our law enforcement going, that's what's going to have to happen, because they are essential to the county. And like he's saying, they're going to get to the point where they have a jail full of inmates, but nobody to run the asylum, essentially.
Yeah, and I'll just have to pull everybody off the road, which that creates another problem.
That will create a problem very quickly when people realize that's exactly what you have to do. That's going to create.
And we're already doing it. I mean, quite frankly. We're doing it.
I feel like this is more of an This is an emergency. I appreciate you coming in here over and over again, asking for our help. It's certainly not. This is not an issue that you made for yourself.
Yeah.
I agree that the state changing what they changed has caused this crisis.
Yeah, and they changed that for the same reason I'm asking to increase these. I mean, they weren't getting it, so.
And essentially, you get what you pay for when you start
we're
hiring
that.
people.
We're noticing that right now. So, I mean, the ones that are applying, I can't get them through the initial steps. The stuff that the state requires right now.
I understand this might be a point of contention too, but if we didn't adjust the folks that have been there longer, we just offered more at that initial rate, is that going to cause a lot of heartache?
I imagine, but I suppose we're getting to the point where there won't be anybody to cause heartache to. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Well, if somebody can propose something where they're going to cut to cover this, I'd be glad to hear it. Right now. My suggestion is you don't attack a balance account. suggestion is you don't attack a balance account.
You had suggested at the last meeting that this is within your budget.
Yes, but the problem that we're discussing is it apparently increases the benefits over and above that paid position.
Because of the dollar paid.
The extra $2.
And it also folds into next year. So because we discussed, can we just do it for a year, you know, and you can't just take away. So not only do we have a problem with making the payments this year, but then we are encumbered to pay more next year over the 12 months cycle. If we do an increase for everybody. And I don't know where you're going to cut it. I don't think we have anywhere to cut it. The only place you're going to find it is you pull it out of some like the tribal funds, and you're borrowing money.
Those are almost gone.
And with all due respect, you take it out of the cash reserve, I'm gonna replace it. And that's continual. It's not like it.
Yeah, it's like pulling out of tribal funds. You only do that a couple times.
Mr. Chairman, I hate to put this thing back on the burner, but you're gonna have to spend an hour or 2 hours, and we do exactly what we just got done doing. And we hash it out with all 5 of us, all 7 of us, whomever. And we hash this out till we finally get to a 3-2 or a 4-1, or we get a 5 decision. We get to 3-2 and a couple of us don't like it. We've come to what we've come to. But as long as we've hashed out everything and that we're comfortable and we can stand up to the public and say this is what is going on and this is why we cut this benefit or we cut this service, then we have that done and we haven't shot from the hip and wondered next year, why don't, now we have to make decisions that are ugly.
Here's the problem though, Marty, is I don't know, without knowing what's coming down the pike.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I have no idea what mine. Short of you borrow it, you rob Peter to pay Paul.
And that's what I'm saying, is that decision has to be made,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. We sit down here and we make it.
And we keep pushing these guys off if we want to do it. If you want to set an hour time frame for them at the next meeting, we can do that.
Absolutely. And we'll hash it out and we'll get ugly and it'll be, we have to breathe through our nose to keep our mouth shut, then that's what we do.
We'll bring the duct tape.
Bingo.
Yeah.
No cameras.
You leave handcuffs outside.
No, sir.
Tasers outside.
It's the one highlight I still got left.
Just knock me out before it starts.
How many guys you got on the road right now, Brian?
6.
And you're pulling the help in the detention and.
Matter of fact, one of my guys worked in the entire last week because we had the crud go through there. So 5 or 6 days in straight.
That's the first thing we're gonna ban is the crowd.
Yes,
We're banning the credit.
Well, okay.
Done with that.
Get us an
That's
hour
'cause
time
that'll
slot, I
be our
guess,
other
at the next agenda. In the meantime, I would recommend everybody go home with this and try to figure out where you're gonna find it, because right now I only see a couple options and it's not sustainable.
Well, it has to be a budget decision before we can.
But if we can alleviate something for 3 months, we might be able to do that. Anything else for Mr. Colvar?
I appreciate you coming.
I'm sorry.
This is a really painful thing for me.
I appreciate the communication though. Some of them don't bring it up.
Yeah, we're backed into enough corners that there's no choice but to bring it up now. So, all right, thank you.
Brian, what triggers a board of prisoners cost?
What's that?
The board of prisoners.
It covers everything inmate except mine.
Oh, so you're paying for inmate stuff out of that?
Yeah, whether it's clothes, the food, the, some minor maintenance in the jail cells. It covers everything that you need to do through a prisoner minus the non-worksman.
Okay.
Run, Mira, run.
Bathroom? Great.
Yeah, we've only been in there so long.
Do we move forward and give her a few minutes?
5 minutes would be good.
That would be polite.
Thanks, Susan.
Don't ask her.
Huh?
Don't ask her, you might not want, like what comes out of her mouth.
Do I have to breathe through my nose?
Yeah, we could duct tape her.
We're just sitting here wondering about the gas map letter that's gonna come out. Which one he's gonna
You got
use.
3 more things.
Written there.
I guess we're not getting a lunch break today.
I was gonna use yours.
Huh?
I'm gonna use yours.
You're gonna use mine?
Yeah.
Okay. You got it all written up and stuff, ready to go?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Have you signed it yet?
No,
Okay.
but I will.
Okay.
You got 5 minutes.
See what I
Go sign it.
mean?
Do you have it printable for him?
He's got to be, no, we don't have to print it. It's got to be on his letterhead and stuff.
It's coming from
You got 5 minutes. Get her done.
Well, I'll get that.
No,
Oh my God.
I'm not in, so I can be a butthole.
Marty, the tape's still rolling.
I don't care. I don't want to put this back on old business.
It won't be.
No, it'll be gone.
It'll be
Mail
gone.
out today.
It'll be mailed out today.
Now, we're putting in there that the interest is continuing to grow.
Yeah.
We're not just.
Accruing.
Accruing, excuse me, the tape's gone. Don't have the duct tape.
Yeah, I mean, she was
So, okay, yeah, because he's not gonna have an amount until he decides he wants to pay it. If he does pay it.
you turned about me on the internet again?
I don't read the.
So can we mark that one off?
Yes.
Mr.
They'll
Chairman?
both be marked off.
Sure.
Oh, we don't need to talk about it?
No, we just did.
We just did.
Well,
Pass that
that's
on.
not in my minutes. I wasn't part of that discussion.
Well, you said the paper was still on your one, but.
I didn't listen to that.
Malo's taken care of too.
Can we get a copy of it?
Yeah.
Will you send it to us?
Only because it was on there.
All right, well said.
Alright, well, as you recall, at the last meeting, after the meeting, I told you I was really excited because Mr. Campbell had said he was going to be sending us $20,643.67 because he was gonna go back on a couple of the payments because he should have been using the old calculation instead of the new calculation. Really excited, he sent that to both Michael and I, we were both happy with that information. Then he sends an email. He would like to make payments on that $20,000. He would like to start sending us $1,000 a month, starting this month. I messaged him back and I said, I don't think a payment plan is an option. He's owed us that since 2023. April of 2023 to be exact. And so on a side note, I messaged Michael, I said, I don't even think that should even be an option. He owes us this money. He had already sent us checks for we had $7,000 I think, but they had gone stale because of the date. He said he would send us new checks. That's when he found the error, realized he should have sent us the $20,000. So this is money owed since 2023. I don't feel that the board should take payments on this.
I would agree with that. My only issue is the contract was very unclear on how payments are supposed to be made. But we have the course of conduct from before that we can probably lean on.
And it does say monthly payments. And it says the amounts that...
Yeah. Well, that payment section, if I remember right, I don't remember if it said monthly. It just says 80%, 60%, and then I'm not sure if it says, I'll look at it again.
We're incurring interest on it while he's.
He has never paid up any of interest on any of it.
But if it's not required. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
can you small cleanse them? I mean, 80% is better than nothing.
Small claim, that's above small, we're above small claims amount. It'd be lawsuit.
And, I mean, at first, it sounded like he was just gonna send it. No problem.
I'll just message it or send him a correspondence and say, no, we want the full 20,000, whatever it is, and if you don't pay it, we'll just sue you. Because we already have an admission from him that he owes the money, so.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
You need anything or just follow what you just said? You don't need that in a motion, do you, or do you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You need a motion just so that we can establish a timeline when we asked and when you were doing it. And so that would work later on. If we get refused, we've asked. And so would you like to have that in a motion so it's recorded like
I
that?
mean, she has it you can add it in the minutes anyway, right? And, yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt, I guess. I don't think it's necessary.
Well, I think it establishes that we are in agreements that we're not appreciative of what they're doing. Not just relying necessarily on. Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize the county attorney to write a letter to all side discussing their delinquent payments.
Got a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Probably second, any discussion?
I would feel more comfortable about, rather than entering into a discussion, is more or less the ask of the amounts paid in full. I mean, that's really what that's going to boil down to. That way we can eliminate a bunch of rigmarole and just say, are you or aren't you going to pay this amount in full? And then leave that response up to vault side, more or less requesting the 20,000 that's owed in full, one payment.
Friendly amendment. Okay with the second?
Yeah. Hey, is there a chance this company's gonna go bankrupt?
Mm-hmm.
Belly up?
Sounds like it. There's a good chance.
Does he have any sellable assets? Can we put a lien on it?
Assuming he has some, I'm not.
I mean, that's something at least, if you got a lien on there before the bankruptcy goes through, you get a better chance of getting at least something out of it.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
They have a building.
That's just a discussion there.
Yeah, no, it's good. I don't know if he works out of a building or his mom's basement.
Right.
The white van across the street.
And I think that's something to consider too, depending on how the response is, because his wasn't he questioning? Didn't he ask, can I make that in monthly payments? Okay, so the answer is no, I guess, in the motion. And make one payment in the full amount. In this vault side, I've talked about this thing. This thing chaps my behind every time vault side comes up. It just feels like a terrible contract. What it has to offer has been useful, and that's the only thing that keeps us connected to this.
Well, and I'm discussing, I have two different people that I'm discussing with. The IDOC one, and then Arcasearch is another company that had given a proposal to the county the same time Vaultside did, which was way cheaper than Vaultside, and it's searchable. And I found that when I was looking for something else, and their proposal was amazing. Not sure why the county didn't go with that in the
I can tell
beginning.
you. Oh, I can tell you.
And so I did message him, and he's working on a proposal. So I found out when I was looking for something else.
It looks like Vaultside rents a suite. 51 Coffee Ave, number 101 to 175. Like they, from address, it looks like they rent a building.
And that's just one way of going about it. That's not helpful to us. Thank you.
I knew him growing up. I haven't seen him in 25 years.
Mr. Chairman, would you have the motion read back to us, please?
Marty moved to have the county attorney write a letter to Vaultside asking for the amounts paid in full.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay with the second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, one more thing. The Weston County Joint JPA for the Travel Commission. Kelly Millar sent paperwork that says the enclosed please find the corrected updated West County Travel Commission JPA. As President Trannell noted in December, Section 8 was incomplete and has since been reviewed. The agreement is now ready for re-review under signature by the governing bodies. You could please present this agreement to your governing body for review, and upon signature, please deliver the document to the Weston County Clerk for the same. So, and then it'll be sent on to the Wyoming AG for final approval. After the AG approval, the document will be recorded with the Weston County Clerk. Section 8 is board procedures. I will hand it down so people, is this the new one and this the old one? Oh, yeah, okay. So what they did, the board shall keep minutes of all meetings during which official action is taken, as well as financial records. Such minutes shall be public records. Copies of all minutes shall be forwarded to the governing bodies of the participating agencies. Somehow that paragraph got missed it.
Out of the original.
At the very end of that paragraph, it's on there. Go ahead, Marty.
So, Mr. Chairman, did this board discuss this and approve it last time? Without that paragraph, that's just what was missing. So the discussion was to approve this.
So this has already been approved once. It's gone down to the AG. The AG must have caught that, and now it's making its way back.
Mr. Chairman, if nobody has any heartburn with that addition of the public records, I move we approve your signature on that. It's a joint.
JPA?
Yeah.
Yep.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the board signature, the chairman's signature.
Yep.
On the Travel Commission JPA, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's recess for 16 minutes. We've
Oh,
covered
we
that.
crossed those off.
I got crossed off.
We'll be back at 1 for an executive session.
Brandon, we have you at 2.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay.
As the point guard, as the team leader, what do you do personally? What do you do to help your team get to the level that I know you guys all want to be at, and I know your fans want to see at.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna stop, preparing and working hard when we're not in practice. I'm gonna continue to get in the gym. But as a leader and a teammate, right now we're coming off a losing streak, and we are the desperate team. We need to figure it out and find a way to win these close games, because I feel like with all the top teams that we've played to our competition, whether it's up or down, and we just haven't been winning these close games. I feel like, over time, we can't keep losing these close games. We got to start to figure out the small one-possession mistakes or the small late-game mistakes that are losing us these games in a close situation. And, I feel like we just have to understand that it's the Mountain West and we can't come out flat versus anybody.
Just that portion, and have it sealed to keep that from happening again. So I was going to reach out to Mason Kaiser and Bucky Rawhauser and see what each of them would charge us to do that, and then I'd bring that to you guys at that point. The elevator has been fixed here, no more clunking. Stops on all the floors. I've rented it all day, it's running fine. Still working on scheduling the 5-year inspections for the fire suppression systems and the repairs. We had a leaking sink at Public Health today. I had to get a new fixture for it. It'll be $334.95 installed and warranted. And I guess on Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be replacing the lock on the server room door. Well, I'll leave the lock that's there. I'll be adding a deadbolt to it. I just gotta wait for the jig to come in. So that's where I stand right now.
Would it be a good idea to do this wall too?
As far, what about?
Dig and seal it.
Oh, the whole building probably, but.
It would be, I mean, this
I haven't seen any leakage coming into District Court Vault.
Okay.
Where I would need to address this spring or summer is going to be some cement over by where the new AC unit, big monstrosity is. Against that wall to the boiler room, there's a gap in there. And when we get excessive amounts of rain or snow melt off, I do get some moisture into that boiler room through that foundation.
And it's not sprinkler, it's just regular moisture.
When we get an excessive amount of rain, or if I let the snow, I've been digging the snow out so it doesn't pile up over there. But when we get an excessive amount of rain, yeah, it'll seep in right down there by the foundation. I'm sure that would be having John or somebody come out and break out a little bit what's there and then slope it to where it runs away.
It's always been a good idea for it needs to be done, that's what. This building is in Dominion.
This one and the library as well.
And they're valuable.
So the power blip that knocked the library boiler off, is that gonna continue to be a problem because it's an old system?
That's what I've got. No. That's in their new controls they put in is where this bug has been found.
Okay.
So we're still under warranty for them doing the control installation. So they need to figure out how they're going to remedy it because it's their control system that's causing the problem.
Does the boiler fall under any other warning? Or is that not the boiler?
It wasn't the control
radiator. It was damaged.
I'm waiting for him to send the bill out for the expansion tank. I had put it to him. I said, if it's your controls, man, that radiator is going to be under you guys because that's not any fault of ours or our system that froze up. So when their plumber came up, he capped it and he took the radiator back. They fixed it and brought it back. I'm waiting to see what their charge is when it comes across as far as that, if they try adding that on. If they do, I'll speak with Ryan and tell him there's no way that we're going to pay for what their control system kind of damaged.
Well, keep us abreast of that in case we have to write a letter.
Okay.
What's a radiator cost for that system?
Well, they went and soldered it back together.
They fixed it. Okay.
They fixed it. And so it's back up and running.
Okay.
How's the library wall looking right now? Good?
Looks good. He finished patching all that, and the storage room foundation part, and then I painted it yesterday with water sealing cement paint.
Didn't they tell us 5-6 years ago that we should probably rip out these trees and?
The trees probably should go. They're way too close to the foundation.
Get in those cracks. And
Yeah, and then they'll just worm their way through, and then we will have a lot of water issue at some point.
And crumbling.
I mean, I know they're pretty, but you should never have a tree that close to your foundation.
And upset people when we.
Oh, it's definitely
That one would.
Oh, that was good. I've already heard.
And the one by the handicap. What I did find out from Cone, I don't know how long it's been happening, but I guess that wall in the elevator from, I don't know when that elevator was installed, I'm guessing the 80s, 70s.
Early 80s.
So that wall has moved about a half inch since.
Didn't probably help when we drilled that great big hole through one of the supporting beams.
That's just what he told me, because he had to shim some of the rails in order to get the piston to line up right to get rid of that clunk. He says from the time it was done, it's about a half inch it's moved.
Well, we'll be on the railroad tracks by 2025.
40 years, that's probably not too bad for Newcastle.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, not for Newcastle.
Sliding down the hill.
Did you guys have any questions for me?
I don't think so.
No, in the words of Freddie Mercury, carry on.
Thanks, Brandon.
Not a problem. You guys have a good day.
Any public comment?
Without explicatives?
Fair enough.
Then no public comment.
Anybody have something they want to share with commissioner comment?
I do.
Marty?
I don't know if anybody but else has been having issues with the email system, but there's a curiosity that's happening that when I was gone for the 2 years, the understanding is when I left that the email would be archived and closed. So in addressing it this time, we found that we couldn't open it. We had quite a struggle, so they had to put the old email in the new email, if that makes any sense. But the problem was, it was a shared account. So my curiosity is this: everybody that closes their account, is that now a shared account? So somebody's been in that account and has taken emails of mine and put them into a draft file. From old. They're in the old file, not in the new file. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I'd like to see an investigation because I'd like to know who thought they needed all those emails. Especially ones that were to the lawyer. I mean, that's your privilege. Not that there was anything there. But there's a sense of some stuff. But I'm curious, is Tony still open? Is Dawn still open? When we leave here, are those files being reviewed or something by some other party? I'm just curious because mine were, and I'd like to know why. So I just wanted to bring that up. So that anybody that has had problems, I talked to Aaron at
Golden West.
Nice guy, and he struggled. He didn't know why either, so I'm curious.
I too have seen some weird stuff online, so I'm curious as to, I don't know that anything's necessarily going on with it. It's just like being logged out all of a sudden from my account and having to figure out how to get logged back in. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to talk to somebody like Charles or whoever and say, explain to me what happened.
What's going on?
Well, and not everything transferred over when we moved from the old account, and what happened to those.
Well, there's the curiosity too, is that the old account that I was under prior, how did it get transferred over?
Jub is what we were on
Right,
before.
but I have it, I mean, I got the whole entire old account because he said he couldn't open a new account without closing the old account. But the curiosity was that he had been forwarded to somewhere else. So, just curious.
Anybody else?
I did have one more, if you don't mind. If we can ask if we can see that contract for Title 25 again. See if we can find that one. And, because that's obviously
They
not
said
it.
they didn't have it, that it's here and we don't have it.
The one with Natrona County.
They've got to ask the County County to produce it.
They said they
They
did.
said they've reached out to them to try to get a copy of it.
I just like to know because it was used as.
Maybe Becky will reach out to them.
Alright, well, thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Jared.
Weekend before last, we had basketball over in Gillette, and I talked to a couple of constituents from Weston County, and they were making comments on how great the grounds at the fairgrounds have been recently since years prior. And I definitely wanted to make that aware to the public, and that we've been under the management of Eric Kaczynski. In indoor arena, phenomenal. We all know we had some issues with that, but the way that it's been groomed and maintained and some of the things there, they definitely wanted to voice that out on behalf of him.
I got a little with it. You know, they're always, Jeremiah was reaching out all the time if there's any issues that we need to take in the interim sessions to them. And just today, we found almost 13,500 worth of vouchers for title, or for court-appointed attorneys, and roughly 10,000 on Title 25. And those were unfunded mandates. Do we need to reach out to our legislators and say, hey, we need some help on these unfunded mandates? If you're gonna mandate that, you know, I don't know what all the legal side of that is, but, you know, that might be something worth reaching out to them and saying, hey, can you help us? I just want the board's feeling on that, should we maybe pursue something like that?
It does come up quite often on Title 25 of trying to get the state to step up and do something to help, even, because we're not alone.
Yeah,
right?
no, everybody's dealing with it.
But the last time that was brought up was a senator from Natrona said, well, it's all our problem anyway, so there's no issue about talking about it. And, well, they get them. That doesn't mean we don't pay for them.
Yeah.
So, interesting. I did have one other observation, and it just would be curious for me. I was going back because there was a question asked, so I was going back through a lot of the vouchers just to, as a curiosity thing. But the thing I noticed is the Motorola bills. They were phenomenal. So I'm curious, what's up with the I mean, 13,000, 15,000, what's going on? What are we buying over there? Just as a curiosity. Something to think about it, budget.
But I know I run into the sale of Motorola down in Cheyenne, and there was the last few things was tying into the dispatch. And anymore now, that's anything over there that should go through the Joint Powers Board.
I guess that's what I'm after too.
And what his explanation, there was a few things that were items that were basically back over waiting on to fill in for a couple of spots over there on the equipment.
But at this juncture, it should be the Joint Powers.
Yeah.
Well, I have more bills for Motorola.
Give an explanation on if they're not authorized by us in years past, that stuff is Joint Powers Board. Unless it's for Brian's pickups or.
No.
We agreed to pay for all the console, that stuff. And it's not add-ons to that kind of stuff, is there?
No, this wasn't add-on, this was just the last few things to finish.
These are
in place.
consoles for the sheriff's office, is what they say.
What do we console the sheriff's office for now?
Oh, yeah, that's a little curious.
There's two of them, and they're both change orders.
Oh, you looked
That's
too?
exactly what they say on them.
Okay, I just was curious because it was just kind of striking and, you know.
I'd like
Yeah, you can see them when you're down here.
where they're at and where they're going, what it's for.
All right, anything else?
I know I'm a little late on the public comment, but may I make a quick one?
Good stuff. The Upton High School hosted the 1A East Division of the basketball tournament Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know who all should get kudos, but there was business that came into Newcastle, there was business in Upton, and that whole weekend was just phenomenal. I've never seen that gymnasium as full or as loud as what it was. And I just want a kind of special recognition, both the girl and boys Upton teams for a high school of 80 students? Both of them made the finals. Now they both got defeated, unfortunately, but no other schools made the finals, both boys and girls. And I think that in itself deserves kudos. I think it just was a phenomenal event that took place there last time. And we had people that were housed in our hotels here, the different schools, different teams. They were eating, you saw buses everywhere giving business to Weston County. And I just think it was a really, really good thing and a really big deal.
Buying lotto tickets?
Yes.
No, I don't do that. I'm not a gambler at all.
Well, we awarded somebody with $787,000 from Upton.
Well,
It was sold in Upton.
It was sold in Upton.
Yep.
I'm not a gambler though.
No, but when somebody went home a happy camper.
I'll bet they did. Anyway, that's it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Thank you.